Afternoon, Stig here. Thought about high time I did a bit of an update. Decided to start working again on my Picts. I've been doing loads of World War II and things recently, but I'm still waiting for decals to come from Dom's Decals. It's been nearly 6 weeks now. Not answering any emails or anything like that. So a little bit frustrating. So I've kind of left that because the project's kind of stalled because of the lack of decals. So I thought I'd crack on and do some Picts instead, which is a nice change anyway. So what I'm thinking of doing is quite a large Pict army in 28mm for Hail Caesar. I'm just debating really about the different types of bases or how I'm going to base them up and how big the units are going to end up being. So for the skirmish bases or the skirmish units, what I'm thinking is if I just have 2 bases, it looks quite small, but you know, you've got to be realistic, haven't you, I suppose, with 28mm, the amount of space I've got, the cost of them as well. So and the space I've actually got to game with, let alone storing them. So if I have 4 figures per unit as a skirmish unit, just on 2 bases like that, I think that'll work. It works out a lot cheaper. So already there I've got 5 units. Once I get these 2 guys painted, I'll have 5 units of skirmishers already, which is pretty cool. For the actual warband units, I've been thinking about how I could do this. I've got a unit set up there at the back, I should show you in a minute. What I was thinking was I could either have them on 60 by 40 bases like this, and have 6 figures per base, but then there's no difference then between like a late Roman heavy infantry unit and a warband unit, and I want to make them look different. So what you could do is just add another layer of bases, again with 6 figures on each behind, but then that's twice as many figures and obviously a lot more painting. It'll cost a lot more. It'll look good, don't get me wrong, but it'll cost quite a bit more. So what I'm thinking of doing is, instead of having that, if I just went for 60 by 60 bases, like this, then on each one, I have between sort of 6 or 7 figures on each base. I have them slightly more spread out because they are a warband. And from what I've read is, especially like the Gallic peoples and things like that, they weren't as, they clearly weren't as drilled as the Roman armies, and they fought more individually, so I think there'd be a bit more space in between them, that kind of stuff. So you could get away with using literally half the amount of figures there, but you've still got the depth and it still looks different to a standard heavy infantry unit. I'll just quickly show you what I mean. I've set up some footsore figures here, just roughly, to give you an impression of what I'm kind of on about. So I'm moving the camera about, but there you go there. So you've got 6 figures per base there, and I think you have to let me know what you think in the comments below. But I think I'll probably get away with that. If you can imagine one big block after another, loads of warband units. I think it'll work okay. Yeah, let me know what you think. Then I've got the command figure there, and that's on a 40mm circle. The little command base. I think that'll work okay. And then with the cavalry, I'm not quite decided how I'll base the cavalry. I haven't got any yet anyway, but I'll let you know once I get some. What I've also got is some different figures. These are the Age of Heroes Arthurian figures from First Corps, which I'll show you in a minute. Back in 2 seconds. Okay, so I was at a local wargame show about a month or so ago, and I picked up a load of the Age of Heroes Arthurian figures made by First Corps. Looking at them, and they had the footsore stand there as well. I was comparing them, and I thought they looked very similar, so I thought I'd give these a go. It's a nice bit of variety to add into the warband units. So what I've got here is a packet of Pict champions, which I'll quickly show you. So in there you get That opened easy enough, didn't it? So, all the separate shields and weapons. You can see there they've got the, sorry about the glare of that lamp. Yeah, so the hands are separate. So you drill a hole and you attach the hand with the weapon. There's a few different varieties there. You've got swords and an axe and stuff. Different shields. And then the figures themselves. There's one there. I think they look really nice. And they compare quite nicely with the footsore stuff. And just that little bit cheaper. And like I say, it's just adding a bit more variety to the warband units. Oh, there's a good example there. So you got the socket there, just needs a bit of cleaning up, which you'd attach to either a sword or an axe. Looks like you'd have a shield up there protecting his head. That's what we've got. Got this guy here. He does look like he's got a bit of a big head, but he's got this big, big helmet on. So maybe he could be a another commander for a command base with his sword up in the air. Pretty good. And this guy here, doing a bit of a wild charge with his big axe. So I quite like them. I think they're quite nice. And just to compare, sorry about the noise. Teenagers banging about. Can't do anything quietly. So you got the first core figure there, and I'll get a footsaw and just compare them. Looks like they're made out of shinier metal. The footsaw, so the first core ones are slightly taller, I think. Just ever so slightly taller, in fact. They're about the same. They're a little bit more bulky. Made out of slightly different metal as well, really shiny. But when they're all mixed in together, I think they'll look quite nice. Yeah, so if you haven't had a look at the first core stuff, it's that little bit cheaper. It's had that little bit more variety, like I said. I quite like them. So that's the champions. And what I've also got is I've got warriors with cloaks. Warriors with cloaks attacking with assorted weapons. Just warriors with assorted weapons attacking without cloaks on. My God, what's what I've got there? Oh, some command. I've actually got some command figures. That's something the footsore ones, I don't think they do. They don't do like the little command groups for the units. So you've got an attack and advancing command there, and then another command just standing. And you get the wire poles and stuff like that to make the banners in there as well. And some more warriors stood with spears. So a bit more variety to add to the units. What I'll do is I'll just set up a couple of units now with the figures all mixed in, and we'll see what it looks like. Back in a sec. Okay, so there's 2 and a bit units, but they're all mixed up. Sorry about the slightly shaky cam, but if I move these, it's like a domino effect. If I knock one over, they'll all go, and it's doing my nutting. So I thought I'd just leave them where they are, and I'll quickly show you them. So yeah, there's them all mixed up, roughly. And I think there's pretty much nearly 3 units there. Just shows how bad at maths I am. I'm missing 6 figures. I'm sure I had the right amount, but there you go. Yeah, just for size, I think they're mixing quite well. So the more shiny ones are obviously the first core figures, and the more grey metal, like i.e. this guy, are the footsore guys. I think they're mixing quite nicely. Let me know what you think in the comments. That's about me for now. I'll speak to you all again soon. Okay, bye bye.